Hello guys, very good morning. So welcome back and let's start. So this is the third and final demo which we are doing. So from tomorrow onwards, it might be a premium link. Okay. So mostly we are thinking that we will continue the sessions from Monday. Okay. So I'm thinking of that. So we will wind up the demos today. So maybe the classes will be started on Monday. So from Monday onwards, it won't be any further delays won't be there. So we'll be proceeding continuously with the sessions. Am I clear with this?
Yes.
Yeah. So mostly tomorrow, if you have the session, I'm not going to give you a confirmation, but most probably from Monday onwards, we will start the main session, main content. Okay. Fine. Then. So let us discuss about. So if you are having the AWS account, that is well and good. So if you don't have an AWS account, please create an AWS account. If you go to the YouTube channels and anywhere, so you will find out how you can create the AWS account. That's a very simple step, simple process. So create an AWS account. So once you have created the AWS account, what you have to do here is you need to create an EC2 instance. Why we need to have an EC2 instance? If you are having a virtual machine in your laptop also, that is fine. I am not saying that you don't need to. I mean, definitely you have to go with the what I can say. Definitely you have to go with the AWS only. So if you are having your respected system, and that system is having enough amount of space and enough amount of configuration, then that is fine. Okay. So if it is not that, then go with the AWS. But the recommended practice is go with the AWS so that it will be very easy for you. You don't have an extra burden on your system. Okay. So one thing I just want to start here is whenever you want to create an instance, okay, in AWS, if you want to create the instance, there are 5 major things which are very important. What are those? To create an EC2 instance in AWS, 5 major what I can say requirements are there. Okay, the first one is network, nothing but a VPC, and subnet. So you need to have a VPC. By default, AWS will provide the VPC for you. Default, AWS will have a VPC, so called as default VPC. Okay, so you don't need to worry about creating the VPC. By default, you will have a VPC. So if not, how to create the VPC, I have clearly given in my, so if you visit the channel, you can see that I am talking to only the Telugu speaking guys, but whoever are there, just check out how to create the VPC in AWS. Okay, again, if I have to say creating the VPC and all the things, it will be a very, very time-taking process. Why? Because here I have to cover the networking topics also, which are not included into our syllabus. Okay, so just to go through the VPC configuration. So inside the VPC, you have to create the subnet. So everything will be there. VPC, subnet, routing tables, internet gateway, security groups, everything will be available in the default VPC. So you don't need to worry about that. And the second one is AMI. Okay, AMI, Amazon Mission Image or Amazon Mission Instance, we will call like that. So where you will have the operating system images, which type of OS that you want to implement on that particular server, okay, on the particular instance. So if you want to go with an Ubuntu image, you have to select the Ubuntu AMI. Or if you want to go with the Red Hat Linux, you have to go with the Red Hat AMI. If you want to go with Windows, you have to go with the Windows AMI. So you can select it. So you will find out the default AMIs. You will find out the default AMIs in the list. Okay, whenever you are creating the AWS EC2 instance, you will find all the default AMIs in the list. Right. And the third one is AMIs, and the third one is key pair. So this key pair is used to log in into your server. And the fourth one will be security groups. So of course, the security group will also comes in the networking concept itself. And the fifth one is type of instance, which type of, or else what is the instance size that you want, T2 micro, T2 medium, like that, how many processors you want, how many RAM you want, how much amount of RAM you want, that will comes under the type of instances. These are the 5 necessary things that you have to provide whenever you are creating an EC2 instance. In Docker, why we are going with the EC2 instance? We are going to install the Docker. We will install the Docker in the AWS environment, AWS EC2 instance. So for that reason, we need to have an EC2 instance to be created. So this EC2 instance creation requires these 5 steps. So let us see how we can create an EC2 instance and how we can access the EC2 instance. So to access the Linux server, we require a few what I can say, a few softwares. Okay, any of the software you can use. Either it might be Putty or Mobi Extreme, like that. Okay, so if at all you are using Windows, for Windows you are having Remote Desktop. Okay, this is the tool which you are going to use. For our sake, we are going with the Linux environment, so we will be using the Putty. So install Putty on your install Putty on your client machine, nothing but your desktop. How to install this? Simply go to putty.org. Okay, putty.org. When you go here, from here you can download Putty and you can install it. Simple. Okay, I want to go for 64-bit x86 architecture. If you are having the Intel processor, go with the x86 architecture. Mostly each and every laptop will have the Intel or AMD processor, so you can go with the x86 architecture. Okay, 64-bit x86 and install it. Simply you can do that in this process if you don't have the Putty in your system. Right. So these are the dependencies to access your server. So what are the software dependencies? And now let us create the EC2 instance. In general, whenever you create an AWS account, so inside your AWS account, you will have the default VPC as shown like this. So for example, let me go with North California region. Why? Because in another regions, I have my own custom VPCs. So I don't want to make you confused about that. So whenever you log in into the system, whenever you log in into the AWS console, automatically what you will be seeing here is you will have a default VPC which is given by the AWS. Okay, so how can you say that this is the default VPC, sir? So whenever we try to delete it, or else here you can say there is no name for the VPC, and the public CIDR is, IPv4 CIDR is 172.31.00/16. So this CIDR will be only for the default VPC, even though you can create your own CIDRs. So if I try to delete this, here you can clearly see this, what it is going to ask. It will ask you, so to confirm the deletion, default VPC, type is default VPC. So you are deleting a default VPC, you really want to delete. So actually you don't need to delete it. Okay, so this is a VPC which is available in your AWS account. You can use this VPC. Okay, this is the first condition. And next, how we are going to create an EC2 instance. If you want to create an EC2 instance in Linux, so click on launch instance. So whenever you open the AWS console, so your AWS console will be looking in this format. Okay, console home will be there. On the top of that, you will have the AWS home page, and then this grid will gives you the services that are available in AWS. Or else here also you can search the services, and this is called as Cloud Shell. And here this is the notification, and here support, and this is the settings. Okay, and next one is region, and this is about your account. So these are the multiple options that you are having in your AWS console homepage. Now, if you want to create an EC2 instance, either you can go to the grid, compute, under compute services, you can see EC2 is available. Okay, so you can select from here, or else you can search also. If you go to the search EC2, here also you will have the configuration. If you click on that, it will redirect you to the EC2 console. So this is the EC2 console overview. So in this, you want to create an instance. You can click on the instances, launch instance. Okay, I want to create an instance. What is this instance? This instance is my Docker instance. Okay, so I will simply make it as Docker instance. So this is the name of the instance. And if you go down here, you will be having different types of AMIs available, nothing but the images. You can select the Ubuntu image, the best possible way, or also you can go with the Amazon Linux also, but I will go with the Ubuntu operating system. So here 2404 is the latest version that is available. You can go with 2404 or else 2204 is also fine. And these are free tier eligible. Whenever you are creating any AWS account, the AWS account must be a free tier eligible account. Then only a few resources will be free for you. Okay, so some of the resources will be free for you. If that AWS account is a free tier account, please keep this in mind. Now I want to go with Ubuntu 2204 and later instance type. So here we have selected the AMI as per the requirement. AMI is selected and instance type. We are going to check out the instance type. Instance type is T2 micro is more than enough for us, which will be having 1 CPU, 1 GB of RAM, or else you can go with T4 also. T4 is also free tier. T4 micro. You can go with T4 micro also. 1 second. T4G dot micro. Okay. So that is not available maybe. So let me, if just go with the T2 micro instance, that's more than enough. T4 micro is not still available. I think T3 micro is available. T3 dot micro, it is available, but it is chargeable. Here you can see there is no free tier eligibility is there. So if free tier eligibility is not there, then it is chargeable. So let us go with T2 micro itself. I'll go with the T2 micro, which is a free tier eligible. So the cost won't be there for this server when you create the server. So additional cost, the cost for the instances won't be there. Next, key pair. What is this key pair? Key pair is nothing but a connection between your client to your server. So where we are installing the server? So I am installing the server in my North California location, which means in the United States of America. I am installing this Docker server. Okay, in this region, which is in America, I am installing the Docker server. Now, where is the exact client? The client is located in Bangalore, in India, Bangalore. So from India, so if I want to access that server, okay, what I have to do? So I will be connecting over the internet. Okay, so I'm going to connect to that server over the internet. But there is a problem here. What is the problem? The problem is if I pass my credentials over the internet, if I pass my credentials over the internet, then there is a security threat. Why? Because there will be hackers who will be performing some man in middle attack or else something different things will be performed on the internet, which is not a secure way of transmitting the data over the internet. So what I am going to do here is I am going to create a key pair. Okay, I am going to create a key pair. In the key pair, there are two keys will be available. One is public key and the other one is private key. Okay, so public key will be always with the server. Okay, in the key pair, public key will always with the server and private key will be always with the client. Whenever we generated this, the public key will be with the server. And when you come to the private key will be with the user. Okay, in the client machine, you will have the private key. So whenever you try to log in into the server, this private key should match the public key. Then only the login will be accepted. This private key is totally an encrypted key. Okay, then only it will be, so then only the user will be able to log in into your server. Here the point is just try to understand. So you are going to a wedding. Okay, you are singly residing in a single room in Hyderabad or Bangalore, any metropolitan cities, and your friend marriage is around the corner. So you are going to that marriage. So when you are visiting to your friend's home, first of all, what you will do, you will come out of your room and you will lock the room. You will lock the room. So when you lock the room, you will have your key. Your room key will be there with you. Only with you, the room key will be there. So you are not going to distribute that room key to the each and every person, right? So that is a private property where you will have your own key. When you come to the public key in the sense the lock whichever you have made for your home, that is a public key. Okay, so when you lock the home, so anyone can come to your home and check out that there is a lock for your home, so that they will think so there is no person residing inside the home. So public key means which can be exposed publicly. But what is a private key? Private key is nothing but the key that is available with the end client. So now whenever the private key is in sync with the public key, then only the server will be open. Then only the server will be open in the sense, then only the user will be able to access the server. If the private key is not what I can say in sync, or else it is not with the equivalent to the public key, then the server will not be opened. You are going to get an error, authentication error. The private key given is not expected to the level. So that is what you are going to get. So we have to generate a key pair, and that key pair will have two keys. One is a public key and the other one is a private key. Private key will be automatically downloaded to the user console, and public key will be there with the AWS. Okay, so AWS will be storing that public key, and whenever you are creating the server, you can use that public key in your server. So let me show you that. Create a key pair, Docker dummy key pair. I will use the default key pair in general, but for your understanding, I'm showing. So download .pem format. Even your putty will accept PPK format, but download .pem format. Both are the private key file formats only. So in the interview, the interviewer will ask you, among the .pem file and .ppk file, which file is the private key file? So the answer is both are the private key files. Okay. So .pem is in the open SSH format. .ppk will be used for the putty. So click on create key pair. So here you can see Docker dummy key pair has been downloaded. Now I want to create my instance in this particular VPC. And if you want to provide any subnets also, you can provide over here. Subnet 1. So you need to assign the public IP. So in general, there are two types of IPs. One is the private IP and the other one is the public IP. Now what is meant by a private IP? Private IP in the sense within the organization, if you want to make the communication. So there are some 100 systems are there, and these 100 systems has to collaborate and they have to communicate with each other. Then you can go with the private IP. So if your computer, for example, in your home, you are having a laptop. Okay. So you want to attend to the Zoom session. So if you want to attend to the Zoom session, privately, it is not possible. Okay. Private IP is with the help of private IP, you will not be able to attend to this Zoom session, which is happening on the internet. So for that, what you have to do? So you have to connect to the internet, and from the internet, you have to connect to the trainer system. So which means that there is an internet connection. Whenever there is an internet connection, definitely you need to have a public IP. So in the internet, with the public IPs only, we are able to communicate. So public IP is required for the server. Why it is required? Because how client is able to access the server over the internet, the client is able to, or else the client is trying to connect to the server over the internet. So when the client is trying over the internet, definitely the server should have the public IP address. Okay, without public IP address, if the server is having the private IP, so the server will be in the North California region and the client will be in the Bangalore region. So if you try to connect through the private IP, it is not possible. Okay, until unless it is having a VPN tunnel. This is the first thing what you need to understand. So we are providing the public IP. If it is not enabled, enable it. And the next one is security groups. So here you can see what are the things that we have covered. Type of instance is done, key pair and AMI is done. So networking is also done, in which default network you want to create and subnet. And the last and final one is security group. What is the security group? So from where the data is coming into the server, from the internet, the data is coming into the server. So huge amount of data will be entering into the server. When huge amount of data is entering into the server, we don't know which type of data will be trying to access the server. So I cannot allow all the data. So I need to provide a security, which means I need to provide a firewall. I need to provide some restrictions. So security groups are nothing but the policies which are having the which will allow the particular ports. Okay, so what is meant by a port? A port is an logical service provider to access your application on the server. Okay, so here what I will do is in the security group, you can go with the select an existing security group, select the default security group, select the default security group. So what will be there in the default security group? I will tell you. So here you can clearly see this, what we have done. We have provided the name of the instance. We selected the operating system and we selected the type of instance, and we have generated the key pair, and inside that we generated the VPC, and inside that I have selected the subnet. From where you are selecting this, there is a default VPC, and inside the default VPC you will be having the subnets, and there will be routing table and internet gateways. So I don't want to go in deep about this. So when you come back to this, you have to provide the security groups also. Now, once we have done this, I'm going to launch the EC2 instance. Okay. Any questions here? Up to now, whatever we have discussed, any questions? What we have discussed, do you understand the concept here?
Yes, Chaitanya. Like, is this video available in your channel to create?
VPC creation is available in the channel. EC2 instance creation is also available, I think. Just to go through that once. Okay. And it is very clearly explained you about the security groups also. You can go through that. Okay. Fine. Any questions, guys? Okay, I can see there are no questions. I will try to access this Docker instance. How I can access this Docker instance? To access the Docker instance, what I can do here is select the public IP. Okay, select the public IP. Sir, I am unable to install the putty. So if you are unable to install the putty, in Windows there is a command prompt available. Through command prompt also you can connect to your server. Click on command prompt. Just the other way I am saying you. Okay, cd downloads. Why I'm going to do downloads? Because in the downloads only you are having that PEM file available. Look at here. Docker dummy.pem is available in the downloads. So what is this? So this is my. So if you see, if you open the command line over here also, you are going to get C users Chaitu downloads. So the same you are having here. C users Chaitu downloads. So both are the same. The folders are same. So SSH -I Docker dummy. Sorry. Docker dummy 1.pem Ubuntu @ when you provide the IP address, it has to connect to that. So this is one way of connecting to that particular server. Okay, or else the other way is you can use the putty also. Let me do one thing. I will make sure that will be doc. It is okay. Fine then. So here what I will do, docker dum.pem. Okay, this is the Ubuntu @ I will provide the IP address over here. When I try to access this, see there what it is saying, connection timed out. So it is saying that I am unable to connect to the server. Why it is unable to connect to the server? The basic reason behind it is So let me show you. When you go to the security groups over here, okay, whenever we are creating the instances will have a security group, and this security groups will decide which traffic has to come in. So if you see here, edit inbound rules. In the inbound rules, the traffic is not coming from the internet. The traffic is coming from a security group, which is not required for me. So now what I will do here is I will allow all type of traffic, any traffic, either it might be SSH, RDP, HTTP, HTTPS, or else there are so many another type of protocols are available. I will allow all the traffic to enter into the server. But this is not a recommended practice whenever you are working in your company. So the company will not allow all the ports to be open. So you need to be very careful when you are working in the company. You have to check which ports should be open, which ports are mandatory to be open. So now what I will do here is I will go with anywhere or else add rule all traffic anywhere. You can simply give like this and save the rules. Done. So now if you try to access the server will be available for you. There you go. Okay, so previously if you see the command prompt is in this fashion, see users downloads. But now if you see the command prompt Ubuntu, so which means that we just logged into the server. Okay, so we have logged into the server. So in this fashion you can access. So what is the method that I have used? So whenever we create the key pair, two types of keys will be generated. One is the public key, which is with the server. The public key will be with the server, and a private key with .pm format will be downloaded into the client machine in the sense into your desktop or laptop. Okay, so now what you have to do is open cmd. If you are unable to install the putty, open cmd and then just give the command ssh-i in the cmd, ssh-i, and private key name, whatever the private key name you have given, you have to provide that private key. And then so you are using the instance, which AMI you are using. If you install instance with AMI Ubuntu, then the user will be Ubuntu. Or else if you install Red Hat or Amazon Linux, then the user will be EC2-user. Okay, so you need to be keep in mind this thing. So now we have installed the Ubuntu. So that's the reason I have provided the SSH-i private key Ubuntu @ here you have to give the public IP address of the server, public IP address of the instance or server simply. So this is the command which you have to use in your CMD so that you will be able to access your server in this fashion. Now I am able to access my server. Okay, this is perfect. Now if you try to see here, if config, what is the IP address of the server? So here I am unable to see this. Why? Because NetTools utility is not available. Let me install the NetTools. apt update -y and apt install NetTools-y. So that NetTools will be installed, and here you can check out one thing. So hold on. See, if config, if you give this, Now, how many adapters you are having? Ethernet 0 and loopback adapter. So what is this Ethernet 0 and loopback adapter in the sense? Now, whenever we create a server, so there will be a physical adapter will be available. So physical adapter, why you are using the physical adapter? So this physical adapter is nothing but your ETH0. Whatever you are seeing, this is for the internal communication and as well as the external communication. So this is your Ethernet adapter. So in your systems also you will have this Ethernet 0 to allow the traffic to enter into the server, and as well as the traffic that is coming out of the server will be going through this ETH0. And the next one is LO0 is there, okay, which is nothing but a loopback adapter. Okay, so which is a loopback adapter here. So this loopback adapter is used for troubleshooting the issues within the network issues within the system, within your instance. Okay, loopback adapter majorly used for local host, or else loopback adapter is majorly used to check out any network connection issues are there, or else networking issues are there within your system. Loopback adapter will be useful. Now, when we install the Docker, what is going to happen? We'll check out that. So first what I will do, I will try to install the Docker. So you can install the Docker in a step-by-step manner. So there are so many steps to install the Docker, so many commands that you have to run. So it will be a little bit hectic for you. So now what I will do here is simply there is an option which you can install the Docker instantly. What is that? If you go to get.docker.com to this particular URL, here you can see the shell script is available for you to install the Docker. So you don't need to execute all the commands. Okay, so simply what you can do here is curl -sl https://get.docker.com. So if you can see the shell script is available. So simply what you can do, bash. When you give this command, automatically Docker will be installed on your server. Okay, so in our Linux instance, we are installing the Docker. In this fashion, Docker can be installed. Now there is another option I will tell you when you go into the Kubernetes. Definitely, I will explain you how to install the Docker in a step-by-step manner. What are the different commands that you are having? First of all, you have to install the Google key. Later, you have to download the Docker repository, and then you have to install the Docker, which is a little bit confusion. So now, if you can see Docker info. So here you can see Docker is installed, and this is the server version, and this is the Docker version 25.5.1. Now here also you can see Docker PS. So here there are no containers are running. Okay, so I will try to explain you about Docker PS and all the things. Now one thing that you need to understand here is previously you are having only these two adapters are available, but whenever the Docker is created, so automatically the third adapter is also available. Now, what is this third adapter? So this is our server. So inside the server, what I am doing here is I am installing a Docker application. I'm installing the Docker application. So inside the Docker, what is going to happen? I will create the containers. I am going to create the containers, container 1 and container 2. Like that, I am going to install multiple containers. So what is this container? You will come to know, but as of now, just understand this particular point. That's more than enough. Whenever you are creating a container, just like your system, try to understand containers are nothing but like your system. That is more than enough for this particular period of time. So these containers, if they want to communicate with the external servers, okay, if the containers wants to communicate with the external servers like Google or else any another external servers, so they have to connect to the internet. How they are going to connect to the internet? So the server is already connected to the internet. This server is already connected to the internet. So now these containers will be connected to the bridge adapter. So whenever we install the Docker, automatically a bridge adapter will be created. So that is BR0. So here you can see Docker 0 is there, no? So Docker network LS. If you give this, Look at that. A bridge adapter has been created. So this bridge adapter will be acting like a bridge between your containers and to your internet. So whenever the containers requires any internet access, first of all, they will communicate with the bridge network adapter. From there, the request will be passed through. From there, the request will be passed through the Ethernet 0. And from the Ethernet 0, it will be launching onto the internet, and it will get back the data whatever the requested container is there and transfer to that particular container. So this is what going to happen with the bridge adapter. So we will see in detail about the bridge adapter and a custom adapter, what you can create in the Docker. So everything you will understand whenever we go in detail about the networking concepts. So that is about your entire Docker, how you have to install the Docker on an Ubuntu machine, how you can create an Ubuntu machine in a AWS environment. So I hope you understand this. Any questions? Questions, guys? This
While
concept is clear?
installing the Docker, you used some command -s sl. What is it, sir? In the command
See,
prompt.
in general, curl will have, those are the options for the curl. What is curl? Check URL. Okay, so if you want to know what is google.com, what is that in general, in the Linux, are you able to see anything graphically? If I give in Windows, if I give google.com, I will get this search engine. I can see this. I can visualize this. Visual interface will be there. But in Linux, is it possible for you to check out this?
No, no.
So what curl is going to do? See that? Curl will show you. Let me do curl www.google.com. If I give this, see there. It is giving you the HTML code, whatever the code that has been written to create that particular Google website, that is going to show you. In the same manner, what is there in, so if you go for curl get.docker.com, if you give this, sorry, curl get.docker.com, it is going to give you a page. But if you want to know the what is the exact data is there inside that particular page, you have to go for -s L. So this is the option which you can include with your curl. https://get.docker.com. So then you are going to get all the options that are, the entire script that is shown in your website on the get.docker.com. Whatever the
Yes,
data
that
is there,
script
that
installation. Okay.
it will be shown directly onto your terminal. Okay, got it?
Yes, yes.
Okay, fine. That's about the concept. Any another questions?
Hi, sir. One question. So you were mentioning about the security, right? Where we need to give only like company specific ports, right?
Hmm.
So that is nothing but the firewalls only, right?
Firewalls only, but it is a software firewall.
So whenever we are using, so we need to give the company specific IP address only we need to access, right? Not like it should not be open for public, right?
IP address, I'm not talking, right? I'm talking about the ports.
Okay.
See, if you are having the public IP also, if the ports are not open, how anyone can access the application?
Okay.
Are you getting it?
Yeah.
So company will have a particular port numbers that should be open. So only the security administrator has to open only that ports. Apart from that, you cannot open all the ports on the server. If you open that, that is a privacy issue. It is not an ISO standard.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So even though if you are having a public IP, that doesn't matter. So whatever the ports that you want to open, you have to open only that particular ports, and you can bind them to your private IP. So you will have your public IP, and you can bind the public IP to your private IP, and you can allow that same functionality on the server. Okay.
Okay.
Right. Any questions apart from this?
This This account, it's a paid one to create an account like this.
Again, I'm saying you AWS is a free tier account. You can check out for a free tier account. Whenever you are creating the account, you will be charged only 2 rupees, and that will be returned back to you after 48 hours. This is the first thing. And the second thing is, until Docker, you don't need to pay anything. Why? Because we will be using mostly a free tier services, so you don't need to pay anything. But when you come to the Kubernetes, we will be going with some paid services. At that particular point of time, how many hours you are using the server, you have to pay that much amount of money. See, it's simple. You are using a Uber application. Okay, you are using a Uber application. Uber application is totally free application. So initially, what Uber is going to do here is, whenever they launched, to make or else to make that habit for each and every customer across the city, they have given some free rides. It is somewhere near, I'm talking about 2015 and 2016 time, not right now. At that particular instant, when the Uber was introduced into the Indian market, they have given some free rides. So to make that habit for the customers. So once that is habituated to all the customers and all the customers are getting onto the caps, now what they have done is they have removed that particular free access and they made everything as a paid access. In the same manner, what Amazon is doing here is Amazon is also providing the free tier account. So why they are providing the free tier account in the sense, so that they will understand the candidates or else the employees who are very new to the cloud, they will understand what is the AWS and what is the AWS console and everything. So they will get familiar to that. So that's the reason they are providing the free tier, which means that everything is not free. So if they are saying that free tier account means only a particular resources are free, and that too there will be some limitations will be there in the AWS. So limitations in the sense, for the free tier account you will have certain limitations. So I will tell you what are the limitations, but the point is, whenever you are accessing any server, so just access in the fashion how I am doing it, then the charges will be less. But if you are trying to access the servers on your own way, then the charges will be incurred. Okay. You understand what I said?
Yes, yeah. Got it.
Yes. Any questions apart from this?
Sir, do we have Docker desktop? Can we use that instead of installing this?
Yeah, you can use that. But that is about to the client itself. I do have the Docker desktop here. In your Windows, you can have that. So the same you are having in the Linux. So there you go. This is my Docker engine. Graphically, you can see this. And what you can do here is, right now I am inside my server. I am coming back onto my local system. Look at here very carefully. Up to now, I am on the server. Now I came back to my local system. Okay. Docker PS. The same commands you can use. Docker images. Where I am running this, because I have opened this Docker desktop, I am able to get the response from the Docker. Now what I will do here is I will close it and I will quit the Docker from, so where is it? I think Docker is quit Docker desktop, which means that I am totally closing the application. Now, if you go with the Docker PS, you are getting an error. Why? Because the daemon is not running, so it is not able to connect to the Docker on my client machine. So the point what you are asking is, can I use the Docker desktop? Yes, you can use the Docker desktop. The same commands will be applied, so you can use it freely in your Windows operating system also. I don't have any problem with that related to Docker. But when you come to the Kubernetes, it is a little bit difficult for you to do the Kubernetes in your local system. My recommendation is that go for the AWS account. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. That's it. So have a nice day, and we'll meet in the next session. Still, do you have any further questions to ask?
So next session will be Monday, right? Not tomorrow.
No. I won't confirm you on this right now. I will discuss with the DURGASOFT and you will get an email notification from them. Most probably on Monday, you will have the main session. I am thinking of that. Let me check out with the institute and I will get back to you, or else you will get a mail on that.
Okay.
Right. So, and one more thing, guys, once you have done with the concepts and everything, please, once you have done with the practical, please terminate the instances. We don't require them. So if they are running, then the charges will be incurred. Okay. So terminate the instances, terminating in the sense deleting. Again, tomorrow, if you try to create an server, you can create it. There is no problem. Okay. So why I am saying this? Because if you are running the multiple servers in multiple regions, knowingly or unknowingly, so AWS is going to give a free tier. Free servers means the servers are not totally free. There is a T2 micro server which is completely free for you. Free, but the point is up to 720 hours. Up to 720 hours per month. Okay, which means if you run this server 24/7, single server 24/7 for 30 days, it will incur some 720 hours. Okay, sorry, not 720, 750 hours per month. AWS is giving 750 hours per month. Okay, this T2 micro free for 750 hours per month. But if you are continuously running the server 24/7, a single server 24/7, then it will be 720 hours. Okay, 720 hours per month. This will be free. But if unfortunately, if you install one more system, already one T2 micro is running, and now you are installing the another T2 micro in another region. So then what is going to happen? Then this particular T2 micro will also have the 750 hours, like 720 hours, it is continuously running 24/7, it is going to run. So now 720 plus 720 is equal to 1440. So how many hours the AWS is providing free tier account access? It is only providing free tier account access only for 750 hours. But you are running two servers. So one server 720 hours are completed, and another server, if you can see, the 720 hours are going on. So which means that 720 plus 720, 1440 hours. So if you remove the 750 hours, there will be 690 hours will be chargeable. So if you install one more system, then again plus 720 hours. If you install another server, one more 720 hours. Like that, it is going to happen. So my recommendation is don't go with the multiple servers on multiple regions. It is not a recommended practice. Go with a single server. If there is any requirement, I will tell you. But once you have completed with your practical, please terminate the server. That will be a benefited for you in the financial perspective. Okay. Fine then. So by this, I am winding out all the demo sessions. And from tomorrow onwards, most probably you will have the paid links. So whoever are interested, please pay the fees and join the sessions. Have a nice day and bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.